saying, what does a tent manufacturing company in northern Michigan need the Internet of Things for, which I'm here speaking about tonight, and we're going to get into that. Overview tonight, I'm going to talk about what is the Internet of Things, why on earth would I need that, how can I do that, because I'm going to sort of introduce the idea of why you would want these services, and then how is TentCraft using the IoT, and then we'll follow up with questions. I tend to speak fast naturally, but now that I have 5 minutes and even maybe 4 minutes now, I'm talking even faster. So Internet of Things, who's familiar with the idea of the Internet of Things? Okay, most people here, a lot of engineers. Basically, it's right there, right? It's putting things on the internet. It's a very rich word, embedding sensors, network connectivity into physical objects, basically, whatever you want to get data from. Why on earth would I need that? So what I'm going to introduce here is a bit of the duality of the Internet of Things. I'm two products here that are commercialized, wonderful products. The Nest is one that I use at my home. I love it, and at first when it came out, people were saying, why would you need to put your thermostat on the internet? Well, when I'm driving back from downstate, and I'm in Cadillac, and it's like, 11 o'clock at night, and the house is cold, I can pop up my phone, turn my heat on, my whole house gets the temperature I want by the time I'm home. The other one is automatic. That's a device you actually plug into your data port in your car. It basically turns your car into an Internet of Things. It's giving you your information on how you brake, how you're gassed, where your location is. And again, people were saying, why would you need to know this? Well, I was at a conference out in San Francisco for Salesforce, and somebody had actually taken their automatics for all their sales folks out in the field. One press of a button uploaded all of their mileage, all their expense reports, everything right there. Not to mention you could track where they are. If you were, let's say you're a heating and cooling company or one of those things, you could say, hey, who's in the area? You could pop up you could see everyone, where they're at, and direct them to the nearest location. So there's a lot of applicable uses for the Internet of Things. How can I do that? The wonderful thing about this, it's still very somewhat new, but the wonderful thing about it is there are so many devices now that allow you to experiment with the Internet of Things. All these little microcontrollers that you can buy for, so the Pi Zero right here, this is a 4-gig-based computer for $5. So for $5, you can buy a full computer in micro format that you can put to anything. It has access to the GPIO pins that can read sensor data. What I'm going to show you tonight, actually, are two devices that I've developed using the Photon. This is a Wi-Fi-enabled little microcontroller out of the box with their own abstracted layer for web API access. And it makes it incredibly simple to do really easy and fun applications for the Internet of Things. So what I'm here to present about two applications and devices that I've developed at our company, TentCraft. One is so dipping our toes into the Internet of Things. So the caveat is huge security issues with this. So when you get into it, just realize that you want to make sure that you're doing it in the proper manner. Everything that I've done here is actually on our public Wi-Fi, which is locked down, so you can't get into our internal network. Because I'm trying to go through the process of, how does this work? How can we use this for our company? How can this provide value? One of the things that I did to get into this was this is basically a temperature sensor that I've connected to the internet. So this right here, this temperature sensor, is in one of our print studios. We have to work within a certain range for our printers to be effective. Anytime we're out of that range, the guys wouldn't necessarily know, and you start seeing issues with the print quality, the heads dripping, those kind of things. So what I did is basically threw this back in the area, and every 5 minutes this device wakes up, it takes the temperature, the humidity readings, pushes it to the internet. I wrote an API in Ruby and the Rails framework to collect the data and then present it to our users in Salesforce. So I can say, anytime it goes out of the range, right, I go out there and say, send an email to the operators to let them know that, hey, these things are out of the range. They start looking at the print quality, the machines and everything else to give them a heads up. It's almost like an early warning system. The second device, this is sort of the genesis of the Internet of Things. I affectionately call it the eye crapper. So we have single-stall bathrooms in all our facilities. It always chapped me, no pun intended, to get up from my desk, walk across the facility, get to the bathroom, and it was locked. It was closed. I still have to go. Why can I not be at my desk and know when the bathroom is in use? So what you see here, I know. So what you see here is I fabbed this box here with this device, the Photon that I showed you, connected to the internet. When it's not occupied, the light's off. Ladies' bathroom for front office is unoccupied. When they close the door, there's a sensor in the door that I installed. Lights up the sign, this is occupied, like the airplane bathroom. and now the front office is occupied. So you can be at your desk, and and so the reason I actually donated this to the ladies the first time. I'm a gentleman. But two, we have two pregnant ladies in the office, and they literally came up to me and said, "That's a great idea. I hate walking down the stairs and having to wait." And so this is for the pregnant ladies out there to make sure that they can actually go at the appropriate time. In our HR guys here, you proved it all. This is all up and up. There's no webcams involved. But again, the idea is you can take this data, the sensor, this information out there, and create actionable tasks based on that data using very simple, very cost-effective sensors across your organization. And that was I'm sorry if I went too quickly, but the idea is that you have incredible opportunity in front of you to gather any information you want, report on it, highlight it, do whatever you want at a very cost-effective and easy manner. I think time is up. Questions? No music, so I did it. Yes, sir?
What's your microcontroller of choice?
So that was the Particle Photon. So it's particle.io is their website. The Particle is the company. They make the Photon here. They actually have, so I have the Wi-Fi enabled version of this. These are getting more and more popular. There's a really great website out there called Adafruit, and they do their own microcontrollers. They have their own wireless version of the Photon. The beauty about the Photon is you get it, you plug it in, you flash it, you put it on your network, and it's yours. And they have an entire abstracted web API that allows you to interact with that controller. So in my instance, you can actually get requests, you can actually send a GET to that device. You can actually go out in the internet and say, on this device, what's this pin telling me right now? Temperature, pressure, you name it, you can get it on a GET command, right? When I programmed it's basically a variant of C, which is what the language you use to program these. You go out there and you can actually do post commands. So it would wake up every 5 minutes. It actually wakes up, goes out there and posts that information to my API, and then I use Salesforce to go out and get that data and pull it in. The other microcontrollers, again, like you could do this with Arduino, with anything that has web enabled. Arduinos, you can do Photons, Pis, you name it. As long as I have that capabilities and the GPIO pins and the sensors available, you can use any microcontroller you want.
How do you handle power?
So power, the one thing on actually both on the iCrapper and my temperature sensor here, it's just a very simple 9-volt USB adapter into this one. The iCrapper, I actually wired this little VNC on the Photon. There's like a power in. So I actually a 9-volt sensor because I'm powering LEDs to light up the sign at the same time. You can actually use a 9-volt, and then I use a voltage regulator to split it, and then a divider to sort of do more things into it. So you can, the beauty about these, because they are so low power, like the Photon especially is only 5 volts. So you could, a couple AA batteries, you can actually power that device with batteries. Or even there's, if you go on Adafruit again, they actually have great solar collectors that you can actually hook these up to. Yes, sir?
What entices you to choose Ruby?
I like the language. I've done Ruby, Python, C#, you name it, and just Ruby just sort of speaks to me. But I'm a Ruby guy, yes.
Have you looked at the service check at all?
I have not, no.
Pretty well. You can get water sensors, stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's the one, the amazing thing is when you get into sort of developing, I mean, truly, any idea you have, I'm not kidding, like, there's a sensor out there to capture. There's light sensors, motion sensors, pressure sensors, anything you want to gather information on, you can spend literally $5 and have that information available to you for it while you're in your basement. That's, so things I'm looking forward to is actually next up on my list, there's 2 things. One is my coffee machine. I am that lazy that I want to wake up in the morning and I want to roll over and actually just push my button on my phone to start my coffee machine. Because we have a puppy, so the hours are all off. I am that lazy to even program it. I was like, I want to wake up and when the coffee's ready, I want to hit my button. So that's the next project is that. The other one is actually I have an Alexa, the Amazon Echo. So now I'm actually doing voice command. My fireplace, it's just kind of again, I'm an IT guy. It's such a pain to actually reach in to flip the switch. I'm actually doing a voice command to actually start my fireplace. That's how lazy we are. I've hooked my Christmas lights up to my remote control TV. Like again, the idea of microcontrollers and Internet of Things, whatever you want to do, yes?
Do you have any tips for getting data from remote locations?
Really, so a couple of actually, so Photon actually, the chip that I use to make these devices here, this temperature sensor and the iCrapper, they actually make a cellular version of it. So you can actually have, again, and you can actually buy prepaid cell card plans. You can load those up on the device, and actually anywhere in the world that can get cell service, you can actually, so if you're in the remote woods of, well, where we live, you can actually open it up, ping it. If you can get cell service and provide data, a hunting cabin, you can actually you could heat your hunting cabin before you even get there. That's kind of the whole idea against what you have a hunting cabin for, but so I would, so the Photon product is actually, I've had other Bluetooth devices too. So there's Bluetooth enabled devices. So I'm working on custom lighting apps for some of our products that you can actually just open up your phone, connect to the Bluetooth, and you can start controlling your whole tent with the idea, from your phone. So incredible power. Again, you could have a whole weekend spent on the security of this, so keep that in mind. But I'd recommend anybody test it out, have fun with it, because it's really cheap, it's easy, and it's a lot of fun. And not entirely creepy, because I used the bathroom. Any other questions? I think that's it, 30 seconds, all right.